everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari and you are watching my knitting podcast videos. And in today's episode I'm going to show you some of the knits that are in my upcoming book and also show you what yarns I used for them and what yarn alternatives you could, for example, use for yours. So the book should come out next week if everything goes as planned. It's currently being printed and I haven't seen the actual book yet, so it hasn't come out of the printer yet. I have only seen the digital copy of the book, so the layout copy before it was sent to the printer. But of course it's always so different to see the actual physical book than seeing things on the computer screen. So super excited to see how it looks like. I kind of know what size it's going to be, but for example, I don't know how the cover is going to look like, or I know the layout of the cover, but I don't know, for example, the feel of the material. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be a hard cover, that I know, and but yeah, like I said, everything else I haven't seen it and I'm very anxiously waiting for it to come, so I'm hoping I will get it next Monday or very early next week. So if you have pre-ordered the book, I will post a pre-order link below this video, and as well as all the yarn names, pattern names, everything that I'm going to mention in this video you can find in the description section of this video. So below this video all the links that you need. So I will post the pre-order link. So the pre-order link is straight to my publisher. Of course, I already know that some of the local yarn stores have taken it into their selection, so you can always check your local yarn store to see if they are already carrying the book, or if they aren't, you can always ask them to take it into their assortment. But I have heard that the shipping costs, if you order the book straight from my publisher, the shipping costs can be quite expensive, because I think they're shipping it with DHL, and shipping one book with a courier, especially if it's going across the Atlantic or a longer way, it can be quite expensive. So maybe you want to check your local yarn store or bookstore if they have it. Also, I know that at least in Scandinavia you can get it from adlibris.com. But anyway, many places to get the book when it comes out. So if you pre-order the book, they will ship immediately when the book comes out of the printer. So if it comes from the printer next Monday, then the books will ship immediately after that. So you will be getting your book very soon too. One of the designs of the book is this one that I'm wearing. When I started to think about the selection in the book, I wanted to include patterns that are very me, so when you see them you immediately think of my style. So when you buy the book, if you know my style, then you know what you're getting. So that was one of the things that I was thinking about, and also because at least for me, a book feels a lot more permanent than a digital PDF pattern, so I wanted to create something that truly lasts time. So that was one of the things that I was thinking about a lot when I was working on the book, and I wanted to create patterns that if you buy the book, it still looks good in 5 years, in 10 years, and so on. So it's something that you can truly go back to from time and time again, and if you make something from it, it's something that you will enjoy wearing for a longer time. So that was one of the main ideas for me when I started making the book. Another thing that I wanted to do was to have a very neutral color palette. I've been talking about color palette a lot, for example in my previous video when I was showing the wood anemone pullover and talking about the blue, how people often get fixated on the colors. So I wanted to choose very neutral colors so that it's easier for you to imagine them in different colors, and if you want to make them in pink, you can make them in pink. If you want to make them in black, you can make them in black. So it's easier for you to put more color into something than take some color out. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to have very classic, timeless colors as well. So a lot of the patterns in the book are either undyed, or if there are dyed, like for example this one, then the colorways are very neutral. So there's a lot of white, a lot of beige, some grays, and some of the patterns are even very dark gray, but still very like the natural colors that come out of sheep. So that's something that I wanted to go for. And another thing that I was thinking a lot about when I was making the book was like art. I've always loved art and art history, and one of the things that I was thinking about when making the book was making kind of like I wanted to have the book to kind of look like an art book, like a coffee table book. Like I was inspired by like classical sculptures from ancient Greece and Rome, and I wanted to kind of like bring that, like the art world, into my knitting as well. So that's also one of the reasons I chose very neutral colors, because I wanted to have like the ancient Greek, ancient Roman aesthetics into the knitting book. And when I started to make it, it wasn't actually planned that we were going to take the photos in Paris. That was an idea that my publisher had sometime, I think it was last November. My publisher sent me a message asking what I think of the idea of going to Paris to take photos of the book. And it was like I said, last November. It was very grey, very dark here in Finland, and then somebody asks you, do you want to go to Paris to take photos for your book? And you don't say no to that. So even though it wasn't planned from the very beginning, I was super happy to see when we started to take the photos, when we went to Paris last April to take all the photos, and when I saw the photos in that setting and the color palette of Paris itself, the colors of the houses and the classical art that is around the whole city, I thought it was like a match made in heaven. So everything kind of like clicked, and I'm extremely happy about the photographs in the book. I can't wait for you to actually see the whole book. It's so beautiful. But yeah, you want to hear more about the knits. Like I said, was inspired by ancient Greek like art history. So all the patterns in the book are named after ancient Greek muses. So I'm not sure if I can pronounce all the names correctly. I'm pronouncing them kind of like in the Finnish way, but you can pronounce them in any way you want. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to pronounce them the way that I would pronounce them, and that is like the Finnish way of pronouncing. But I will write all the pattern names below this video so you can get a better idea of everything. So this is one of the first designs I made for the book, and this is the Antiope pullover. You can see it here. So it is raglan pullover. It also has the cable pattern on the back, and it is started at the top and worked downwards, and all the patterns in the book are charted. Unfortunately, because it's a book, there's a limited space, a limited number of pages, so they are only charted, and the patterns haven't been written out. It would have taken way too many pages out of the book, so that's why they are only charted. So it started at the back neck and then increased for the front, and then it's joined in the round here at the front neck. After that it's worked in the round until armholes. Then you separate the sleeves from the body and work them in the round, and lastly pick up stitches around the neck and work the neckband in the round. So it has like this crossing cable pattern, and then some little honeycomb cables over here, basic cables, and of course I always love the textured moss stitch, so it also has that on the sides. For this one, the yarn that this one is knitted in, I didn't knit this myself, my sample knitter made this for me. So this was knitted with Double Sunday from Sandnes Garn, and this is a different colorway. I don't have this colorway left anymore, so but this is same yarn, different colorway. So it's a DK weight yarn. You could substitute it with any DK weight yarn, or if you want to have a mohair version, then I would go for fingering weight yarn and mohair. I think it would also look really nice as a mohair pullover. So the Double Sunday from Sandnes Garn, it has a really nice color palette, many different colors to choose from. These are a few of my favorites. This colorway was called Kardemomme, but you could actually use any DK weight yarn that you have. Let's see some options that I have over here. For example, you could use Wooldreamers Rinconada. This is also a DK weight yarn. Or we have, here's another colorway of the Sandnes Garn Double Sunday. This is also a DK weight yarn, so this is the knitted closet organic wool. This is also, like I said, DK weight. Really nice yarn. Oh, what else? Here's Tukuwool DK. I think this would also look really nice for this pullover. So I would choose anything that has a good stitch definition. That's probably the most important thing, because if you don't have a good stitch definition for the yarn, then the cables aren't going to show very well. Another thing, for a pattern like this, I would go for a unicolor yarn or something that is only like very slightly tonal, and that's also because of the cables. So if you have like a self-striping yarn, then it's going to distract from the cable pattern and you don't see the pattern as well. So anything with good stitch definition, you can still have a good stitch definition even though you have mohair in it. So this is not from the book, this is actually my Robin beanie, but as you can see, you can still see the stitches very well even though it has mohair in it. So you can go for mohair fingering weight yarn combination, but then I would choose colorways that are very close to one another, so it doesn't have this like marred effect. So choose the Mohair and fingering weight, like either the same colorway or very similar colorway. Another DK weight pattern that is going to be in the book, this is the Achelois tank top, and I wanted to create something a bit different. I don't know if you can see this very well because it's so similar in colorway with this one, but I will post photos of it over here as well so you can see how it looks like in the photos. So this is intended to be worn with some negative ease, so that the pattern stretches a bit over your bust, and it's going to have like a really it's quite small around the neck, so not very wide around the shoulders, so it's going to be quite small, and then it starts increasing for the sides. So this, I wanted to create something that you can wear, for example, under a blazer or a jacket. I could imagine this being worn with like a very loose linen pants in the summer, tuck it in your pants, and then just throw a linen blazer over it. So I wanted to create something like that, and it's a bit different shape that I usually go for. This is the view at the back neck, so it's kind of like a razor back, and similar on the front, and it has this very simple cable pattern and I-cord edging to it. This was knitted with, actually I knitted this myself. I didn't knit everything in the book, like I said already. I don't think I even knitted half of the knits, but everything that was a bit more complicated, a new construction, those I made myself. So this is something that I hadn't, or the shape of this is something that I haven't tried before, so that's why I made it myself. So this was knitted with Aimee's Merino DK, and I think it's a really nice yarn for this because it's very stretchy, so it's good for pieces that need to have a stretch, especially like this, because it's intended to be worn with 0 or slightly negative ease. So I think this is a really good yarn for this. So either you could go for the same yarn, you could also choose like 2 fingering weight merino yarns, held double if you don't have DK weight. Sandnes Garn Double Sunday would work really nicely for this one as well if you don't have Aimee's Merino DK near you. This colorway was called Bone, so it's a beautiful greyish beige, slightly tonal as you can see over here. It has a slight variation, and it has an amazing stitch definition. As you can see, the cables really pop out. So this is the Achelois tank, one of my favorites in the book, and I really wanted to wear this a lot this summer, but I decided not to wear it yet because like I said in my previous episode, I'm going to do like this little trunk show tour with the knits from the book. So I haven't used any of them because I want them to be in a mint condition when I come on tour with them. But after I've been touring with them for a while, then I will start wearing the pieces, and I'm definitely going to make another one of these because this is such a versatile pattern, and I think I will be wearing it a lot in the future. Then we have I could show you actually the first thing that I made for the book. Just a second. So the very first thing that I casted on for this book was this very simple hat, and it was like I was kind of like very undecided on what I wanted to do for the book. I went back and forth with the ideas, and I kind of felt like when I cast something on, then it's kind of like settled, and that's the direction I have to go to, and I can't change my mind anymore. So in that sense, I was kind of like putting off the casting on the first thing, because after that, after casting on the first thing, I had kind of like selected the direction that I'm going to, and it kind of felt a bit, I don't know, final in that sense. But then I realized that I just have to do something, and I chose this very simple, I wanted to have a very simple hat in the book. So this is actually like a double layered hat. So it's not really a top down or a bottom up hat, because you start here at actually on the one side, like below the ribbing, with a provisional cast on. Then you make the ribbing, you make the first side of the hat, and after that we undo the provisional cast on and then work the other side of the hat. And for this one I used Knitting for Olives Merino. So after that you can just push one side of the hat inside the other one, like this. And then fold the brim. So this has like a double thickness, and this has actually like 4 layers of fabric around the ears. So I think it's going to be really nice for the winter. For this one I used Knitting for Olives Merino and Soft Silk Mohair. Both are in the colorway Slate Grey. It's beautiful, like really dark grey, slightly on the bluish side of grey. I absolutely love this color. I want to make a sweater in this color as well. There's another version of this same hat. This was knitted by my sample knitter. So for this one it actually has 2 colors. So the first half of the hat and the ribbing is in one color, and then the lining is in another color. So when you fold the hat like this, and you can either wear it like this, so that you have the same color of the ribbing and stockinette stitch on the top, looks like this, or you can turn it around and have the contrast color lining on top. Then the ribbing and the stockinette stitch are in different colors, and it looks like this. These were knitted with Sandnes Garn Alpakka and Gepard Garn Silk Mohair. I can't remember the colorway names for this one, but I will write them below this video. So this is the Melete hat in 2 different colorways over here. Another hat that I have in the book, this is the Mneme hat over here, and this was something that I wanted to create, something that you can use leftover yarns with. So this is a very basic design. It has a triple thickness brim, so you fold it twice like this, so triple folded brim, and this is knitted with one strand of DK weight yarn and 3 different strands of silk mohair. So you only need one ball, like 25-gram ball of each color of the silk mohair, so it's a really good way to use your leftover yarns. And the DK weight yarn that I used for this one is actually the leftovers from this sweater, so it's Sandnes Garn Double Sunday, the same colorway as in the sweater, but it has additional 3 strands of different color Gepard yarn and silk mohairs in it. I will also write all the colorway names below this video. And this is something I wanted to have, something that is quick to make, very easy to make, so it's knitted bottom up and with big needles, so it's quite quick to knit and looks like this. So it's a 2x2 rib. And this is something that I'm also looking forward to wearing this winter. I'm sure this is going to be absolutely gorgeous warm hat here in the cold Finnish winter weather. I'm going to show you 3 more sweaters and 2 more pairs of socks in this video. Let's start with socks. So these are the Thelxinoe socks, and they are a DK weight sock pattern. They are knitted cuff down, so I wanted to have like these longer cuffs that you can either fold double like this or use as longer cuffs. And these have a really nice little cable pattern going on the front and the back of the foot, and very easy beginner friendly cables. The yarn for this is DK weight sock yarn from Finnish dyer called Aara yarns. So this is their Aatos yarn base, and the colorway is called Hohde. I really love this color as well. It's one of the only kind of like designs in this book that has a bit of color. So this is not totally beige, but it's a bit on the like golden green olive color side. It's very pretty. Would love this also as a sweater. Just realized. So beautiful. So Thelxinoe socks, DK weight sock yarn. They are knitted cuff down. They have heel flaps, French heels, gussets. So a very basic sock design, and since they're in DK weight sock yarn, they are a bit quicker to knit than basic fingering weight socks. So I have another sock pair over here. These are the Euterpe socks, and these are knitted from toe up and in fingering weight sock yarn. So you start at the toes, and there's this beautiful cable pattern on the front of the sock, and then there's another slightly different cable pattern at the back of the sock. So these also have, they look like they are heel flap and gusset with French heels, but since they are knitted toe up, the construction is a bit different. So instead of decreasing for the gusset, you increase, then you work the heel as short row heel, and then reinforced stitch for the heel flap. Small little cables with twisted stitches, one of my favorite thing to make for socks, especially I think with sock yarn. Twisted stitches look really good. Sock yarn usually has a really good stitch definition, so this was knit with hedgehog fibers sock yarn. The colorway is called Silence. It's really beautiful, very slightly tonal, warm beige color. So I just love this, but you could use any sock yarn for that. Again, because it has the little twisted stitches and a lot of texture, I would go for either unicolor or like this very slightly tonal colorways, so that the stitch patterns will show the best. So those were the socks. There's one more sock pattern in the book, and also, like I said, showed you 2 different hats. There's one more hat pattern in the book as well. I will be making another video showing you more of the knits very soon. So this is just like a first look at a few of the patterns in the book. So this is not everything that is in the book, but just like the first look, and you will get a second look very soon. Then we have another cabled sweater. So this is one of my favorites from the book. This is called Hohde. Hohde is actually the muse of song in ancient Greek mythology. So it has a cable pattern both on the front and the back, as well as on the sleeves. So you can see here on the sleeves there's like the cable pattern, and also there's like moss stitch on the sides. So this is kind of like slightly oversized. I wanted to create something very classic fit, so this is kind of like the boyfriend fit sweater, and it's a bit longer, bit more wider, and it has a straight fit. So this is a very unisex pattern, as is actually this one. I would just size up if you want to make this for like a bit looser fit. So if you don't want to have it quite as tight as it's on me, then go for size up a bit, and you can always make the body longer if you want, and also adjust the sleeve length. So that's always explained in my patterns. I encourage the knitter to try it on every now and then you can easily work the sleeves longer or the hem longer to suit your own body measurements, because each of us has a slightly different length of arms, length of back, and so on. So this has a slightly more like kind of like classic fisherman sweater fit. This is knitted with Sandnes Garn Alpakka. This is the tweed yarn, as well as Knitting for Olive's soft silk mohair. So it has a really beautiful halo coming from the mohair, but I have always loved tweed yarns. So this is, like I said, this is one of my absolute favorites from the book. I'm sure I'm going to be wearing this a lot. Again, this one, like I said, for this, that you can choose to add mohair and still have a good stitch definition. I think this is a really good example of that. So even though it has a tweed yarn with little tweed knobs as well as mohair, you can still see the pattern really well. So this is the Hohde sweater, and again this one is started from top down. So you work first the back and increase it to the full width, so it's knitted flat until the armholes. Then you pick up stitches along the shoulders and work the front, and then join them in the round below the armholes and work the body in the round. And after that, pick up stitches along the sleeve opening and then work the sleeves in the round. And lastly, the neckband and it's knit in twisted rib, so it has, as well as here on the sleeves and on the hem, it has a twisted rib for a bit more stitch definition. So Hohde pullover, and this is one of the kind of like heavier weight designs in the book. So the PREORDER yarn is a DK, but maybe on the worsted side. So again, you could go for this one and combine it with silk mohair, or maybe if you don't want to use the mohair, I think Isager Aran tweed would be a really nice alternative. That one, so you can see it here. So I think this could also work nicely for this weather if you don't want to have mohair. But if you want to change yarns, I always recommend you to make a little swatch, the same way as if you're painting a wall, you would make a little paint swatch and see how you like the color. So the same way you can always make a little swatch with your yarns and see if the cable pattern shows with the yarn, if you like the combination of them, and then if you don't like, you can always choose another yarn for your design. Two more things. I'll show you the simple one. It was actually the first one, first sweater that I made for the book, and then lastly I will show you more of the Calliope pullover that you have already seen a few videos back. I was wearing it in one of my videos a little while ago, but I'll show you the Apollonis pullover first. So I wanted to add a couple of designs in the book as well that are simple, because a lot of them are quite complicated, very intricate. So I didn't want the book to be too intimidating for people to think that there's nothing they can do. So I wanted to have something that is a bit more simple, and also if you want to have something more simple on your needles between more complicated works, then I wanted to have a few designs that are more beginner friendly, more like easy to knit. For example, if you want to knit while watching TV, then maybe you don't want to make a cable pattern like this, so something different to choose from. I just wanted to say here in between that even though my designs might look a bit complicated, I try to write my patterns so that it's easy to follow. So if you just follow the pattern, I'm sure you can make any of the designs in the book. So if you know how to knit and how to purl, then you know everything you need to know. All the rest of the stitches are just variations of those two, and I would recommend you to bravely try out new things, new patterns. So if you haven't tried out knitting cables, try it out. It's not as hard as it seems. It's often that we make it harder for ourselves, so it actually isn't that hard, but for some reason we have the notion in the back of our head that this is super hard. Maybe somebody said to us that it's hard, or we just think that it looks so complicated that it must be very hard, but it's not. It really isn't that hard. So I would really recommend you to try out new things. I'm sure you will realize that you actually know a lot more than you thought you know. And if you just follow the pattern, like I said, I have done the work for you. So that's what I do as a knitwear designer. That's why I write patterns, so that I have figured everything out for you, and you just have to follow the pattern and you will end up with a similar sweater. So that's my job as a knitwear designer, is to write the pattern so that anybody can duplicate my steps, and you don't have to figure it out for yourself. You don't have to know how to make a sweater like this, because I have already provided you with the instructions. So just follow the instructions and it will be okay, I promise. But like I said, there are a few more simple designs in the book. One was the Mneme hat, this one, as well as the double-sided hat. It's also a very simple pattern. This is the Apolloni's pullover. It's also a top-down pullover and it has a circular yoke, so you start at the neck and work the ribbing. Then we have a bit of short rows for the back, so that the back is longer than the neck and the neck scoops nicely at the front. And then you just increase for the body, and after that separate the body and the sleeves and work them in the round. And I have two different versions of this in the book. So this one is knitted with wool folk flette, and it's boucle yarn, so it looks like this. It's so soft, super nice. So flette bulky from Woolfolk. And here's the second version of the same pullover. So here you can see the stitch definition better. So it has like this knitted top of the ribbing, so the top of the neck starts rolling nicely, and then you have the ribbing, and here at the sleeves it's like this decrease, sudden decrease. And this one was knitted with Derrerum Cyrano. The colorway is called Cell. So it's a bulky weight yarn, big needles, so you can knit it quite quickly. Another alternative for this one would also be Isager Aran tweed over here. So you could also use this one instead of this, or the flat bulky from Woolfolk. But it's a very simple classic design, you can see here. And then the last one, just take it down from here. So here you can see it. This is actually on the cover of the book. So this is the Calliope sweater, again knitted top down, and there's a beautiful lace pattern on the yoke as well as on the cuffs. And this one was knitted with Mayak yarns Tibetan cloud wool. The colorway is called Wild Daisy, and it's a really soft, fluffy, airy, lightweight yarn. It has a beautiful drape. So even though it has like this cotton wool like softness to it, it has a really beautiful stitch definition, and you can see that the lace pattern on the yoke shows really well. So this is a light DK sport weight yarn. So alternatives for this, for example, Derrerum Anatoras Ulysses would be a good alternative for this design. Again, I would go for something that is unicolor, or like I said, slightly tonal, so that, as you can see, the lace pattern will show as well as possible. So those are some of the designs in the book, and I will be filming another video for you very soon. It's already starting to get dark here in Finland so early in the evenings. I still haven't gotten used to that because in the summer it's so light. I thought that I could film anything even at 8 p.m. but now it's 4 p.m. and I can see that the sunlight is already turning very bluish and disappearing. So that's everything that I have for today. But I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will add the pre-order link of my book Softly Timeless Knits below this video. I forgot to say that there's actually 22 patterns total in the book. Everything is new, so I haven't released them earlier, so new patterns, all of them, and I'm hoping it's coming out of the print next Monday, keeping my fingers crossed. And I will film you another little video later this week to show you more of the knits in the book. But until that, bye!